The prophecies, it's happening right now, friends. First, we have this great American eclipse, followed by Hurricane Harvey. Now we've got Hurricane Irma barreling its way to Florida with Hurricane Jose right on its heels. Now a magnitude mega earthquake, 8.1, hits South Mexico. So far right now reported at least 5 dead. This is just happening very early, so bear with me. This morning, a massive 8.1 magnitude earthquake hits off Mexico's southern coast, toppling houses in Chiapas state, causing at least 5 deaths and setting off a tsunami warning, officials said Friday. I believe it was originally a 8.4, USGS downgraded to an 8.1. The quake was so strong that it caused buildings to sway violently in Mexico's capital, more than 650 miles away. Residents fled buildings, many in their pajamas, and gathered in frightened groups in the streets. Some neighborhoods remained in darkness after electricity was knocked out. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake struck at 11:49 p.m. local time, and its epicenter was 102 miles west of Chiapas, not far from Guatemala. It had a depth of 43.31 miles. The U.S. Tsunami Warning System said hazardous tsunami waves were possible on the Pacific coast of several Central American countries, including Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, and Honduras within 3 hours. The house moved like chewing gum, and the light and the internet went out momentarily, said Rodrigo Sobrenas, who lives near San Cristobal de las Casas in Chiapas, a poor, largely indigenous state popular with tourists. Chiapas Governor Manuel Velasco said that 3 people were killed in San Cristobal, including 2 women who died in San Cristobal when a house and wall collapsed. He called on people living near the coast to leave their houses as a protective measure. There is damage to hospitals that have lost energy, he said. Homes, schools, hospitals have been damaged. Tabasco governor said 2 children had died in his state. One of them was killed when a wall collapsed, and another baby who died in a children's hospital that lost electricity, cutting off the infant's ventilator. Civil Defense in Chiapas said that on its Twitter account that its personnel were in the streets aiding people and warned residents to prepare for aftershocks. In neighboring Guatemala, President Jimmy Morales spoke on national television to call for calm while energy crews checked for damage. We have reports of some damage and death of 1 person, even though we still don't have details, Morales said. He said the unconfirmed death occurred in San Marcos State near the border with Mexico. Lucy Jones, a seismologist in California who works with the U.S. Geological Survey, said such a quake was to be expected. Off the west coast of Mexico is what's called the subduction zone. The Pacific plate is moving under the Mexican peninsula, she said. It's a very flat fault. So it's a place that has big earthquakes relatively often. Because of that, there's likely to be a small tsunami going to the southwest. It's not going to be coming up and affecting California or Hawaii, she said. For tsunami generation, and 8 is relatively small. 8.4, downgraded to an 8.1 magnitude earthquake hits Mexico right after we have the CME strike. The Harbenger. It's time, brothers and sisters. It's happening. It's happening. First, we have this eclipse across the United States of America, followed by a devastating Hurricane Harvey, the death and destruction that it left in its path, and the flooding. And now we've got Hurricane Irma making its way. A massive, mega hurricane making its way to Florida with Hurricane Jose on its heels, and now a magnitude 3. Another hurricane behind Hurricane Jose. Mega earthquake 8.1 hits Mexico. And here's another source that's coming from Fox News, September 8th, 2017. Mexico earthquake, powerful quake hits Mexico's coast. Tsunami waves reported.
It was a very, very strong earthquake, one of the strongest strongest I felt, and let me tell you, I was here in 1985 when that earthquake collapsed Mexico City. So what we're, looking out for each other, all the neighbors, like, what should we do? Where should we stand? Because also, let me tell you that I live in an area in Mexico City that is considered one of the most dangerous ones. Also with downtown Mexico City. This is an area next to the Angel of Independence for those who have been here. So it's, we are all in extreme alert.
So, Paulina, let me just be clear. When it struck, you were driving and then you pulled over and stood out in the street. Where are you now? Have you been back to your apartment, which I understand is in a very old building? Have you been back to get a sense of whether there's any damage?
Yeah, I already checked the building and checked my apartment, and everything is fine here. I live in an old building. It's like 45 years old. But I know that security protocols were implemented by authorities already, so you can hear the helicopters and the ambulances and the police cars driving around this area.
And here you can see the 8.1 massive mega earthquake that has hit Mexico. Again, 8.1. Massive 8.1 earthquake. At least 5 reported dead so far. I'll try to keep everybody, look at this, posted with any updates. Be ready, everyone. The prophecies are being fulfilled right this moment.